to start hearing where everyone is from. I'm out here in California. I'm from San Francisco, but I'm currently in Sacramento having a pool day with my 91-year-old grandfather and my uncle. But, you know, that's where I'm at. Summer, you're out in Ohio.
I'm in Columbus or Cincinnati, Ohio, but I've lived all over the place, and I have to tell you that I miss California. I really do. That weather is legit. But it's really nice here right now, and we are loving where we're at. What about everybody else?
Good. Let's have everybody start dropping in the comments or in the chat. Let's hear where you guys are from. And while you guys do that, we're going to just be welcoming a bunch of coaches on here to tell you a little bit about what we do as coaches. It's an opportunity for us to share from our hearts and tell you exactly what it is that it takes to be a coach. And like Summer and I are across the country from each other, we have come together in this capacity. Like, this is how we met, was through Beachbody. And I probably never would have met her other than this. So it's an opportunity to come together to create community and to create I call it a sisterhood, but there are some guys around.
A brohood too. Don't be leaving out the boys.
Right, here you go. So, but it's an opportunity to create a tribe, and that's what we are. We want to welcome you to our tribe. And I'm going to hand it over to Summer. She's going to take it away, but we have a bunch of coaches who are going to jump on and tell you all about us.
What is up, you guys? I love that y'all are here. I'm not the one going to kick it off today. Is Ashley on here? Y'all, here's what I want you guys to think about as you're listening. You know, first of all, if someone invited you here, I want you to take like the ickiness off if you feel that, or maybe that's just me that felt that 10 years ago when I was asked to come to something like this. And I want you to know that when we get together and think about who we would love on our team, there's a lot of thought and heart that goes on into that when we're talking through that and helping each other really navigate who do we want on our team. Because really, to me, the coolest part about this business is that part of building a team. See, I was a personal trainer when I was introduced to this business. And when I thought about how many hours were in a day, how many people I could reach, and how many I actually couldn't reach, this exploded in my heart. Like, oh my gosh, what an opportunity to reach more people and get surrounded by people that want to help people. And I'm going to be honest with you, if you don't love people, it's hard. Like, you know what I mean? Because this is a people business. It's about serving people and being able to build a business and an income around that. So before I overtalk and take up our time, Ashley, are you here?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yep, you go, girl.
Good. So I am Ashley Tartt. I'm so honored just to be able to take a few minutes to tell you a little bit about my story and why coaching has changed my life. And so I will just start out by saying that a little over 2 years ago, I was in a very dark, scary place in my health, with my health mentally and physically. I was dealing with debilitating anxiety and depression that was rooted in the fact that at that moment I was over 300 pounds and really felt like I had no idea how to get out of that hole. I felt like I had tried everything under the sun to be able to take control of my health, and nothing worked, really, because nothing clicked. And that was really, what was going on. And so I had the blessing of being able to watch my sister, who is my personal coach, who had spent the last year at that point really transforming her life. And I had just seen such an amazing change in her mental shift and just everything, as well as her body transformation. And I just saw that joy, and I wanted what she had. And she didn't do anything big and great to kind of pull me in, other than just being an inspiration and showing up for herself and sharing that. And so I said, sister, I would love for you to help me do what you're doing. And so she started coaching me, and very quickly, my health began to turn around. My mindset shifted, and I started seeing the physical transformation. But for the first time that I could ever remember, I had confidence and energy and just peace. And I really felt like I had control of something that had been out of control for so long. And I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that whether I was an expert at what I was talking about or not, I had to pay that forward. I had to tell other people what had saved my life, not just changed my life, but had literally saved my life. And I know my sister doesn't mind me saying this, because I know she's on here and she knows that it's the truth, is that neither was she an expert in what she was teaching me, but what she knew is that Beachbody had brought all the experts together and had created, like, in my opinion, the best in the world as far as workout programs, nutrition programs, and healing products. And we didn't have to be an expert. All we had to do is just share the resources that were already created by Beachbody with people who needed them, like us. Like, we didn't know all about it. We just knew that it saved our lives, and we wanted to share that with other people. And we knew that we did not have to be an expert to be able to do that. So what is a coach? Well, a coach, first of all, is not someone's personal trainer, although they may be a personal trainer. They're not someone's nutritionist, although they may be a nutritionist. And we're not someone's therapist, although we have therapists that, join as Beachbody coaches. But what I mean by that is that what we are is an encouragement. We are a bridge of hope from somebody's lifestyle where they are right now to where they truly want to be, but they don't know how to get there. How powerful is that? So what just really took that burden off of my shoulders when I knew that I wanted to help people, but I also knew I wasn't an expert at fitness and nutrition and all of that, is that I knew that my sister showed me the example that what we do as a coach is we show up for ourselves, our own personal journey. We share that transparently, and most of you are here because you've seen one of us sharing it on our social media in some way, or just talking to you about it, out and about, if you're our friends and family. And so it's just sharing our own personal experience, and then offering our hand in doing the same thing, like doing it with us. That doesn't mean that we're going to be a mastermind and be able to have all the answers, but what it does mean is that we're passionate about what saved our lives, what made a change for us. And, we're offering that to other people because we already have the amazing resources that Beachbody has created for us. So we become like a cheerleader in somebody's life. We become that encouragement, and like I said, that bridge of hope. And so here's what's really exciting about it all, because I say this over and over. This is my ministry. I believe that 100%. This is my calling, and I think it's an incredible blessing that we get to help people and to be that bridge of hope to help people change and save their own lives through this. But then we get paid to do it. And like, sometimes I'm really like, is this real? Is this real life? Like, do we really get to do this and get paid to do it? And so Beachbody turns what we feel like is our ministry into what we can also consider our business. And so every time we connect someone who needs a change with a resource that will change their life, whether it's a small need or a big need, whether it's the whole package or just something that changes a small thing that they do in their life to a healthier option, Beachbody rewards us and thanks us for connecting them with that by paying us a commission of that. So they deposit that into our bank account every Wednesday night. Like, how exciting is that? But the size of the legacy that you can build here is beyond anything that you could comprehend at this moment. I just want you to know that, because not only do we get paid as we connect people with resources, but when we also link arms with other men and women who have a desire to do the same thing we do, then we begin to reach out the arms of that ministry, and then Beachbody ups our income by paying us in ways like Team Cycle bonuses, Diamond Star bonuses, and I could go on and on and on. So as you build what I really love to refer to as a legacy, and that's what it is, because it furthers your reach further than you could ever do on your own, then Beachbody rewards us that way with pay. So that I'm going to stop right there because I know we've got so much amazing stuff to share. But I hope that you hear my heart in that you don't have to. Like, I'm a makeup artist, you guys. Like, that's what I do, and it's okay for you to do and love other things. Beachbody can absolutely be your side hustle and still be a huge blessing for your family financially, as well as reaching out in other people's lives and helping them to find breakthroughs from food addiction and disordered eating and just whatever they're facing that they have a need for.
Absolutely. And you know what, you guys, that's really what I loved about this 10 years ago when I was introduced. So what I really want to talk about is like a day in the life of a coach, which really can be different for everyone. And that's another thing that I love about it is this business can literally look however you want it to look, and it can change over time, right? So when it was introduced to me 10 years ago as a personal trainer, like I understood it, if that makes sense. Like I knew it wasn't a gimmick, and I was heavily against that kind of stuff, and I was very picky about what went in my body and all kinds of things. And so when it was introduced, it was that knowledge that I did understand, because if there's anything that I learned in the Army 19 years ago was that character is what you do when no one else is looking, right? And so that was something that has always been super important to me, that if I wouldn't do it to my body, I don't want someone else to do it. So I want to be able to put my name on something. If you don't have your name, that's something that, my husband was in the Marine Corps really, really big on. And 10 years ago when it was introduced to me, I could wrap my brain around those kind of workouts, because those are the kind of workouts that I taught at the gym. Those were the kind of workouts that my group fitness instructors that I was managing was teaching, right? So I felt like I had a solution for people that, personal trainers lose clients all the time when they have to make budget cuts, or they can only come to them once a week. I saw as this tool, like, oh my gosh, like we can really help people make some progress, right? But even with all of that knowledge, I did very little with it initially, right? Because I had different things in my head that were holding me back. Like my husband was getting ready to deploy, and we were moving across country, and, I had just had a baby, and, we had a 10-month-old and a 4-year-old. So I had all of these struggles inside on top of this misconception of what, network marketing was, right? Like there are ways to do it. And that's something that we're really passionate about, that really creates hope in people's lives. There's also a way to do it that makes someone feels like they have a dollar sign on their face. And so there was this lady, and bless her heart, because she was fighting for her family. And so I don't want to dishonor that. But when she would see me in the grocery store and I had a baby that was crying, she was trying to book me for different home parties and stuff. And I remember thinking, if that's what it has to be, if that's what it has to look like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be a part of that. And that kind of tripped me up. Okay. So my husband deployed, and I started going through the motions, becoming someone I was not proud of. My kids were slowly but surely losing their mom, and she was slowly but surely burying herself in wine and food. And you can imagine that's not very good for a personal trainer's confidence, anybody's confidence, really. And I was walking down the stairs one morning to start coffee after very little sleep, and I saw this sign that I used a million times with my clients. It said, if you want something different, you have to do something different. But this time the word "you" popped out at me. Summer needed to do something different. See, I was blaming Chad for us being $100,000 in debt. I was blaming Chad for leaving me all by myself and going and deploying 7,000 miles away. That was never part of the deal in my head. I was blaming Chad for the sleepless nights. I was like in the middle of nowhere, North Carolina, feeling sorry for myself. I don't know if you guys have ever got into that place, and I hate to say that I was there, but that's where I was. And it was in that moment that I literally decided to do something different, that I decided to see this as an opportunity that I'd been praying for. And I needed to start with myself, if I'm being honest. See, I'd had the program P90X. How many people have heard of P90X? Well, only if you've lived under a rock have you not heard of P90X. But I bought P90X when I signed up because they said to. And I was like, I don't need P90X. I train myself. I don't need Tony Horton. I know how to do it, right? So full of myself, I'm going to be honest, right? And it traveled to 2 different locations. It went from Mississippi to Washington to North Carolina, still wrapped up. And it was on that day that I was like, you know what, I'm just going to surrender. I've been running half marathons. And if you love to run, keep running. I'm just saying that I didn't, and it wasn't working for me. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to do something different. So I hung up my shoes and I was like, all right, Tony, my husband's telling me to follow you. I'm going to prove my husband wrong. Is really anybody like that in their mind? Like, oh, I'll do it just to prove you wrong. It's not going to work. You know, I'm doing all the things, you know, except for also eating my kids' crust and their mac and cheese and all, you know, the leftovers. I was a leftover mom. You know what I mean? I didn't eat anything except all of their leftovers. It doesn't count if you're standing up or if no one saw you or if you ate it in church. I had all kinds of rules for myself in which food calories didn't count. But I decided to prove Chad wrong, and lo and behold, he proved me wrong. Because when he came home 90 days later, I felt the best. I dropped 15 pounds, and even though I had 15 pounds to lose, I went from not being able to do any pull-ups to being able to do 10, right? So my entire life changed with this product. So what I came to realize is, well, first of all, I don't know if there's any personal trainers or group fitness instructors on here at all, but if there are, like, that is hands down like a no-brainer to create another income stream, right? Because personal trainers go on vacation. Do you get paid on vacation? No, unless you have some other online course running, right? Like, there's only so many hours in a day, so many clients, and so you have these other income streams, and that's before I even opened P90X. That was my first income stream, right? And because it works, and I was able to connect people to a program that could really help them, right? So if you're in that field, it literally is a no-brainer. But if you're not, you have to understand that the piece that was missing for me was not the knowledge. I had all of the knowledge, and knowledge is great. I'm not saying that. But what I didn't have, you know, so I had the fitness, and now I had the fuel. But what I had been trying to do for so long, and what I noticed with my clients, is I didn't have the support. Almost around the clock place to be supported and encouraged, if that makes sense. And so what I realized at Beach by Diz, they took these pieces that were so important and put them together, right, into a way that can truly change someone's life just like Ashley's, right, just like mine. Just like different people have different goals and different struggles, and we have different products in our toolbox to help people because we're not one size fits all, right? And then our job is to support them. And that was when I got surrounded while my husband was deployed and I was isolated. That was where I felt the power of being surrounded. You're the average of the 5 people that you're around the most. And I was stuck in my suck until I got surrounded like people that are much like the people that are on this call with you guys, right? And so once I realized what I had, what I could do for people, how I could expand my reach and build a team. Hey, y'all, just make sure your phones are muted and all that kind of stuff, because I'm getting some feedback. Can y'all hear that feedback? Let me mute it. There we go. Okay. Once I realized what I had, so did other people, because there's something that starts to happen is people start to notice. That happened to you, Ashley? People start to notice that you're carrying yourself differently, that your confidence is different, that you look different, like you're glowing, that like my whole persona kind of changed, and people started to notice. And they also started to notice I just started to share on social media what I was, like the tips, how I was learning to navigate cravings, how I was learning to the emotional eating issue I was having when my husband was deployed, how I was getting up in the morning with a 10-month-old that didn't sleep a lot, or what my nighttime routine looked like, or how I was navigating the weekends that used to trip me up. I literally just started sharing the things that were helping me. And I grew from I had like 175 people on Facebook back then. Didn't have Instagram, didn't even exist, y'all. So let's not even go there. But I had very small community, and it started to grow because people started to notice and that really is a genuine, authentic approach to the business, right? And so literally I started sharing on social media and asking people to do it with me. I started listening to personal development. And when my kids went to bed, instead of scrolling Facebook, or let's just be honest, I ate a lot of ice cream at night. Instead of doing things like that, I spent time learning, you know, with our team and learning how to reach more people and share what I was doing. And so it was in that process, right, that I learned that really Beachbody is for anyone that has done a program, right, and is feeling the benefit of it, or has a passion for helping other people and want to connect an extra income to that. And that's exciting to me, that you don't have to have a bunch of knowledge, right? And it doesn't come down to that. What it comes down to is the fact that all of us have a story that can be used for good. And for 10 years, my creator has used my story, my struggles, the military, you know, a struggling personal trainer, $100,000 in debt, struggling to afford groceries and to pay our bills, and where was the next, you know, where were we, how we're going to pay for next car payment, where was that all going to come from, right? He has used that story to help other people navigate the same struggles that I believe keep people up at night, or at least they kept me up at night. And so I don't know, like, where you're at, like whether you're just like starting out in your fitness journey or you're a fitness professional, but you can take your knowledge, whatever knowledge and tips, personality that you have, and start using it as a gift for people. And that is honestly what I do every day. Okay. And I organize it how it fits for me. And it has changed over 10 years. Right? So when I had a 10-month-old, I woke up a little earlier for 30 minutes before my workout. And I did our power hour that we teach. And at lunchtime, I checked in and encouraged people. And that was how I ran it. Now my kids go to school, so it's a little different. So from 10 to 2, I work. But those other times I go, and let me just be honest, I get a mimosa with my husband, who's out of the Marine Corps now, and we do things differently. We go to all their football games. And he doesn't have to miss what he missed so many years of, as 11 years in the military. So anyway, I could talk forever, and I know we're already a little bit behind. So I want to throw it over to Amy, who's going to talk to you guys about how do you even know what to do, right? Because it sounds complicated sometimes, I think. And that's the problem, is it's not complicated, right? If a mom of a 10-month-old, a 4-year-old, 175 Facebook friends, exhausted and tired with a deployed husband in the middle of nowhere with no friends can do this, I promise you that if this introvert can build this business, so can you. Amy, are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me? Hear me? Awesome. Awesome. Hey, you guys, I'm Amy, and I've been a coach for about 5 years. And I was a radiation therapist before I had my daughter, Mia. And after I had her and I was on maternity leave, I decided that I was not going to go back to work. But I didn't start coaching until she was about 18 months old. One of the things that, and you've already heard a lot of this, that I love about Beachbody is that truly anybody can benefit from it. And I was definitely not an expert or professional in any way, shape, or form coming into this. I didn't come into Beachbody for weight loss. That's what I love about it, is that it's not just weight loss. It's not just fitness and nutrition. It really is the full package. And you've heard the word hope a lot. And that's what it was for me. That's what it gave me in all areas of my life. So the reason why I started Beachbody was because I needed help learning how to properly fuel my body, to exercise in a healthy way, to simplify things for me, but also not to do it by myself. I needed that accountability and support, which these guys have shared that they needed too. I needed to be healthy for my daughter because I fought eating disordered eating, excessive exercising, binge eating, and I've used laxatives for over a decade. So I was a mess. My body was a mess. I was starved of nutrients. And after I had my daughter, I knew I had to draw the line in the sand. I knew I had to be a better example for her. I was at the point where there wasn't another option. Maybe that's you tonight. And I didn't really know what that looked like. I didn't know where to start. I just didn't know. So maybe you're here tonight because you need a change in your health or your finances, or maybe you just want to have something of your own that brings you joy and excites you and gets you out of bed in the morning. Whatever that is for you, Beachbody can be that answer. After I quit my job, I was excited about being at home. But we went from 2 incomes to 1. I don't know if you guys have done that, but I had a lot of depression and anxiety that formed from that because I was so fearful that I was going to have to go back to work. And I started arguing with my husband over the silliest things. I just knew that I wanted to be at home, but I wanted also to be able to contribute to my family's finances and have something of my own, because I was a stay-at-home mom and I felt like I needed that. So instead, Beachbody and the coaching opportunity from my friend, and it totally changed my life. So if you're here tonight, I hope that you know that the person that invited you truly loves you to offer you this amazing gift and blessing. So fast forward to 6 years later, my little girl's going to be 7 on Halloween, and I'm still home with her. And that's all because of my Beachbody business. I started in 2014 just to bring in an extra $100 to $200 a month so that I could, just contribute to my family and not feel like that I was causing us stress. But I have since created a full-time income, working part-time hours, and we now homeschool. So you may be like I was when I started, thinking, okay, how will I even know where to start when I sign up? So if you're here and you're like, sign me up, sister, what's really awesome is that we make it very, very simple and support you along the way when you get started. We provide a checklist that will give you a few simple things to do that will help, to just get started. And then we'll set up a one-on-one call. It's nothing formal or fancy. It's just a time for us to get on the phone with you, to answer your questions that you may have, to really hear your goals and your vision, because that's important for us to know what that looks like for you, because that's what's really awesome about this, is that it's yours and you get to decide what that's going to be for you. So we want to know what that is so that we can help you get started on the right foot and create the momentum in your business and know how to best support you through that. If you're not already in a challenge group, some of you may be, but if you're not, we'll make sure that we get you added in there, because that's the foundation of what we do is being a product of a product and being on our own journey, so that you have that experience and accountability for yourself and fully be able to understand that process. And our goal is to help 3 to 5 people to start their journey and be in that challenge group with you. And we run that together so that you don't feel like you have to do it by yourself. So there's never that lack of support, resources, tools. As you grow your business and also as you set new goals, we'll continue to give you that support and help guide you through those as you grow and evolve and what that looks like for you. So just know and have peace that you're going to get the best start possible with your business, with your coach, because that's really important for us to help you get started with confidence and excitement and that momentum. So I'm really excited for you guys and cannot wait to welcome you guys to our team. And thank you for being with us tonight. And I'm just excited. I'm excited for you guys.
I am too. I really am. I always pray over the group before we get on, because I know what it did for me, 10 years ago, what it did for me just to be excited, like you said, Amy, again, you know what I mean? I was blaming Chad for a lot of things. And one of the things was I felt like he took my creative outlet away. I was just hired as a police officer when he decided to go into the Marine Corps, and you don't have a career really as a Marine Corps officer's wife. And so it gave me something to grow, something to call my own, while still, like Amy, I did want to be home with I had to be the one that was the consistent and the constant in my kids' lives. And so I love that we get to do it together. And I hope something is turning inside of someone's heart, right now when it comes to being an opportunity. Like, we don't have to remain stuck in any area of our life. You know what I mean? If we're willing to have the eyes to see and the ears to hear, there are solutions and there are people that will love you, genuinely help you achieve what you want to achieve. But I know what you might be asking yourself, and Amanda's going to talk about is like, well, how long is this really going to take me? You know what I mean? Like, is it like, I don't have time? That's what kept going through my mind. So Amanda, are you here?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay.
All right, so time. I'm really excited to talk about time because I think that's the question that everybody probably has on their mind. Like, how long is this going to take me? What kind of time do I have to involve in this? And I hope I can calm some fears and doubts in here about that, because for me, and we're all sharing stories, and maybe you guys have found yourself in somebody's story already. I've heard these girls' stories before, and every time I'm like, gosh, that was me too. And for me, like, I can't narrow it down to one reason I joined coaching. I was a stay-at-home mom who wanted to continue being a stay-at-home mom, but I wanted purpose in life. Kind of like Summer said, you know, I'm a military spouse as well, and I was either Chesty's wife or Anna's mom, and so I wanted something for myself, but I wanted something that I could, you know, have purpose, like I could change someone's life doing it. I didn't want to just go out and have a job, because at the same time we had 2 mortgages and money was really tight. And so I remember asking my husband, like, just let me try this. Just let me run with this. And thankfully he was, you know, he said, of course. And that's been 6 years now, and I'm still a stay-at-home mom. And, but I wanted to be that constant in my kid's life. And so when we talk about time, I can remember my first year of coaching was crazy. You know, 2 weeks, like I said, I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and Anna was 3, and we were trying for a second child. And so I got pregnant with Ian about 2 weeks later in the coaching. And about 4 months later, the Army said, you're going to Hawaii in 3 months. And so my life, I know you guys are all like, oh, Hawaii, I'd love to go to Hawaii. I get that all the time. And I did, but that wasn't what I wanted. Like, I didn't want to have my child halfway across the world from my family. I was able at that time to be stationed, actually living in the same neighborhood as my parents and my sisters. We were all in walking distance, which is very rare for military families. And I didn't want that. I didn't want to, you know, have to move away, and it rocked my world. And so long story short, our orders got pushed back a little bit. So my son was 6 weeks old and my daughter was 3 whenever we got to Hawaii. And I remember sitting in that hotel room, and we lived in a hotel for a month and a half. They couldn't get us a house right away. And I didn't have a car because my husband had the car to take to work, and sitting there and realizing how out of control my life was. But the one thing that I could control was this job. It was the one thing that I knew if I invested just a little bit of time in every day, the compound effect would work, and I would get to where I wanted to be, no matter what the chaos was going around me. And so I did that. Like Amy said, waking up a little bit earlier, you know, because I had an infant laying in, you know, we were in one room with everybody. So I just wake up a little bit earlier, do a little bit, and then move on. And so now, like I said, it's been 6 years. My son actually is going to kindergarten this year. So I have no kids at home. So my work looks so much different than it did when I had an infant and a toddler. And that's the beauty, and that's where I want to start this at, is it doesn't matter what season of life you're in. It doesn't matter, you know, if you're working full-time or you're a stay-at-home mom. This job, it can be whatever you want it to be, whatever season of life you're in, and it can be flexible as you move through the different seasons. From when I had, you know, just 1 child to 2 children, to living halfway across the world from anybody I ever knew, to my husband being deployed for 9 months. You know, I was able to work it the way I wanted to, because when you sign up, you are the CEO of your business. You get to create your hours. You get to decide what your goals are going to be. And to me, I don't know about you guys, but it gets me excited to think that you're that much in control of your goals and what you want and the dreams that you have for your life. And really the investment is what you want it to be. So I want to go into, there's the 3 levels of coaching, 3 kind of categories that we put as going into coaching. And some of you might be in number 1. Maybe you're a discount coach. Maybe you're signing up and you're like, you know what? I've heard everything and I want to do the discount, and that's perfectly fine and okay. Maybe you're drinking Shakeology, or you're doing the Performance Plan or Beach Bars, and you'd really like the discount in the products. Or maybe you're a hobby coach. Number 2, maybe you have a full-time job that you love, you have no intentions of stepping away from, but you could use some supplemental income. Maybe it's for the kids' activities or for the grocery bill, or something that would just ease your life a little bit. Or maybe it's you want to make this career. Maybe you want something different in life and you have big dreams and big goals, and you're ready to jump and do that. And your time investment is going to look different with every category here. It is, the more time you put in, the faster you'll get to where you want to go. But you will get to where you want to go by investing the time, just making that intentional choice. So you get to decide where you want to go. And you know what, you might sign up and say, I want a hobby coach, because to be honest, that was me. I signed up, and though I had big dreams, my first goal was to pay for my daughter's preschool. I wanted to be able to pay for the preschool. I wanted to be able to, right now, pay for the softball, and because sports get very expensive, pay for all those things. And they were like my stepping stones, my milestones. And then every time I reached one of those, I had more belief in myself and what I could accomplish. And so now, it's gone even further. I'm at home with my kids. Let's put it that way. I'm able to be home and be their constant and their steady when their dad is deployed. And so you can switch, you can change, but it's just taking that jump and taking that leap and knowing that and remembering, because I probably all the seasoned coaches on here will say, like, you have to tell yourself all in isn't all day. Like, just because you put in all the time, you don't, or think you have to put in all the time, you don't. You make this the way you want to make it. No one decides for you but yourself. Your coach is going to ask you what your goals are, because they want to know what you want, not what they want, not what the girl next to you is doing, or it's what you want in life and the goals that you set for yourself. I think that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So we're running a little over, so I'm going to jump right in and talk about, like, if this is your jam, if you have anything stirring on your heart, like, what do you do next? And I'm very much like Amanda, like, I really, really love what I do, so much that I go on vacation. You can ask them, and I still show up and do webinars because I love it. Like, I love that I don't have to take a vacation from it, but it started very much part-time for me, you know what I mean? And so it's completely up to you, so, like, something that I do want you to ask yourself, is, like, since I don't know exactly what we have 100 people, and we've more that got locked out today. Unfortunately, I should have upped the count. But I had to ask myself, like if I didn't do anything different 10 years ago, would anything change for us? Being $100,000 in debt and having more month than paycheck. And I knew, if we have any amazing military families on here, you pretty much know what your income's going to do year after year. There's no surprise. You can see the progression, and so I had to ask myself, like, if I didn't do anything different, how would I get where I wanted to go? How would we get this debt noose out from around our neck? How would we ever go on a vacation? How would I pay for, the soccer and the things that I really did want my kids to experience? And so I don't know. Well, it's not. I can't get it. No worries. But, so I don't know what's on your heart, but I don't know, like, what $250 would do for you guys. Like, I know when Chad and I reached $500 a month, like, we thought we hit the lottery. And by the time he was on his second deployment, he was asking if what I was doing was legal, right? And so the ability to scale this business is completely up to you. And like Amanda said, like, it's not a get rich quick type of thing. So if anybody ever tells you that, like, smack them and then run the other way. But, it is going to, what you put into it, you'll be able to get out of it, and it is very rewarding. And so our job is to meet you where you're at. If you want to run, we'll run with you. But most of all, we want you to love it as much as we love it. Like, I always say it's bigger than a paycheck, but I'm not going to do it not for a paycheck. Does that make sense? Like, it's bigger than a paycheck, but it's a business. But we want it to serve you with what your goals are. And so if you feel like it's your jam, like right now, like, it's such a good time right now because school is getting ready to start, or some have already started, but our next new Coach Academy is getting ready to kick off. And so you'll be able to get ready and get set with your coach and jump right into that. So make sure you send your coach a link so that we can start you off well. You know what I mean? And really help you move in a positive direction right away towards your goals. If you're military, the cool thing is you don't pay anything. Everything is waived. And I love that. And that's not because our CEO thought you needed a discount on products, although that is nice. What he realized, and I was around, like, I was already a coach when he implemented this, was that he felt sorry for the military, that they gave so much and made so little. So he wanted to create the ability for the military to make another income stream, right? And so if you're a military, that is like a gift from Carl to y'all. And I've been using that gift for about 9 years now. And so all your fees will be waived. If you bought a challenge pack, your fees are also waived. Okay, so you won't pay that $40 startup fee that I had to pay way back in the day, because we didn't even have Shakeology, if I'm going to be honest with you. So we didn't have challenge packs or anything. But what I love is there's no monthly minimums, right? If there was, I wouldn't be here. There's no crazy annual fees that you have to pay. There is a monthly $15.95 that you pay because, well, I'll just tell you what, you guys are getting a steal with that, because for personal training, I ran my own website, and I had to run my own shopping carts, and I was my own customer service. And I had to write up my own blogs and my own recipes and all of those things, and pay myself out and deal with all of those things that you don't have to. So that is like a legit steal. But that's the only fee that you have, and there's no contracts that you're locked into. I'm telling you right now, if there was some large sign-up fee, I wouldn't be here. And if there was a contract, I wouldn't be here, because I didn't know where our money was going to come from. And so you don't have to worry about those things. But if you don't have either of those, if you're not military, you haven't done a challenge pack yet, please do a challenge pack and get the fee waived. If you do the BOD, it's the best bang for your buck. It pains me from a personal trainer perspective when people don't understand the value of Beachbody On Demand, that for a whole year, you can have a personal trainer and you can mix it up and keep your body guessing and continue to get results and not plateau for less, listen to me, less than what it costs for one session for me 10 years ago. One session with me costs more than it costs for a whole year of Beachbody On Demand. So please tap into that. If you already have the Beachbody On Demand and you already have a challenge pack, like one of my favorite things to have people do is to do the 3-day refresh challenge pack to cancel their Shakeology and then combine it so you can get Shakeology cheaper, and then do the 3-day refresh so you really kick yourself off. Like you could legit start it, and 3 days later have a great story to start telling people about, kind of resetting you. I call it the 3-day fresh start, to really hit the now button and just break some old habits that maybe happen with the summer and really start helping other people do the same. So to me, or you can gift it to someone and coach them through it. So that's one other direction I would go. And if you struggle with nutrition or anything like that, the 2B mindset to me is golden. I love the Ultimate Portion Fix if you like structure, but the 2B mindset to me, I just think it is such a blessing, because I believe everything rises and falls on belief. So if we can work on our mindset. So I don't know where you guys are at. I want you to, though, really not overthink it. Right. And so if there's something churning inside of you, I want you to know that you're not going to be alone. Every step of the way, we are going to be with you. You won't run challenge groups by yourself. You won't do anything by yourself, and you'll have someone to help you. So just let us get you set up, and we'll introduce you into the team, and then we'll get you started and get you right into the New Coach Academy that we are all polishing up right now, making sure that it is perfectly set for you to fit into those mom or dad cracks or the full-time cracks, so that you can really hit the ground running and succeed in the areas that you want to succeed. So if anybody else has anything else to say, I would love for y'all to jump in, or if you have any questions, but we need to do a drawing, okay? Because I have two favorite. So do me a favor, you guys, before you get off, raise your hand, hit the you can raise your hand, right? In participants, right? You can do the raise the hand thing. And if you are someone that's brand new and this is your first time, Chad and I would love to this is one of our very favorite supplements. Chad is huge. My husband is the supplement guru. He's huge into supplements, has been for quite some time. And I guess that happens when you deploy in the Marine Corps. But this is his favorite supplement. And then my kids, when I asked them, they said we needed to give these away, because these are theirs for school, you guys. And they were like, give these away, Mom. And I was like, okay, let me run it past my crew first. And they said, yep, let's do these. So we're going to give away some of these beach bars. My kids love them. They have snack time at school, and this is what they fight over when we run out of them. They get super upset, and then I have to cut them up into small cubes so no one's frustrated or mad walking out the door. But raise your hand. Does anybody know how to tell them to do that? Isn't there a way to raise your hand? Amanda, do you know how to do that? So that I know, I want to pick randomly, but I don't know who you know, everybody is, and there's 91 people still on here. But I saw someone raise their hand earlier, and I don't know. It's in the chat section mid-page. Okay, so you go to chat, right? And then you can raise your hand. Okay, maybe this isn't gonna work here. Oh, wait, someone just raised their hand. Let's just do this since obviously I don't know exactly how to run this, and I don't want to keep you guys on here forever. How about you guys do this? Start, if you are new and you are like someone invited you and you are a guest, I want you to you can put one of those little emojis on here, and then I will, my assistant is on, and so she will start looking at names and then do like a completely random, you can't figure out the emoji thing. That's okay. From a computer, they must be on their phones, you guys. And while we're waiting though, I want to make sure, because I'm going to need you guys' addresses and stuff like that. So what you'll do if your name is drawn for the Energize, which is a pre-workout supplement, really, that also what my husband is always bragging on it has quercetin in it, which really does help with inflammation and the repair of your muscles and stuff, which decreases your muscle soreness. I don't know if any of you guys have worked out and then the next day didn't feel like working out because your calves were about to fall off. Well, that was me when I started Asylum, so maybe no one can relate. But the quercetin is supposed to decrease that, not completely take it away or anything like that, but it helps, and it also gives you that boost. So I don't know if we have anybody on here that works out like after work or after their kids get home from school, or maybe in the morning. The tips that I've heard people do with this is they put it in their car and they mix it up, and while they're driving, so that it's you know, because you can start to get lethargic after work, and I don't know about y'all, but I hear stories they get home and man, if they put their butt on the couch, they're not working out, right? And so they mix this up in their car. A lot of people I've had put it in their bathroom, and so when they wake up in the morning, they shake it up with water, and so it kind of gets them going, get a little shot of caffeine, and you know, get you. It's really a great supplement if you research it. But Chad loves that it has beta alanine in it. You can see him motioning at me like I'm not doing it any justice or something. But anyway, it's adulting juice. That is right. And so, Amanda or Amy, does anybody have any questions, or do y'all think of anything while I'm looking at all the names that y'all would like to answer real quick for anybody that maybe we missed or didn't clarify? Or is anybody brave enough to ask any questions? I mean, this is the time to do it. Legit, I love what I do. I've been in it for 10 years. I've hit the top rank in the company. I'm in the Million Club. Like, if you want to ask real estate, my husband can pop in. He's used it to invest in real estate. The sky is the limit. And we love that it's tied into a purpose and that we get to make an impact. You know, we wake up excited to do what we do, really. And I can't say that he said that at the end of his Marine Corps career, although that is a career that I'll always be proud of that he did. But you got anything, Amy, while I count these up, or any thoughts? Amy's looking at me like, what? Maybe Ashley's the talker. Maybe it's Ashley.
Hey.
Oh, looky.
Okay.
I knew Ashley would talk, so I could tally up these names.
Yes. I know I was talking so fast, making sure I got finished on time. Okay. So I just wanted to share this while you're doing that. So a little fun story about working my business and doing it in just the small little chunks of time consistently, and how that creates a compound effect. So Summer taught us, and this was something that we will teach you as a brand new coach, that's so crazy, stupid, simple. I mean, it really is, and the way that it creates momentum. But is just, you know, sharing just a little bit every day, like literally something you can knock out in 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. Like, that's how I work my business. And like after 2 months, actually the first month, it was paying for my whole program. Like, what a blessing that was to not be paying for my program anymore. It was paying for my Shakeology. And then 2 months later, it was paying for my Shakeology and my husband's Shakeology. And then 2 months later after that, so this is like going to be an 8-month progression I'm going to tell you about real quick. Like 2 months later, It was paying for his and mine. And then 2 months after that, it was paying for our son's private school tuition. And then 2 months after that, it was paying for both of our Shakeology, his private school tuition, our car payment, and our insurance. And then fast forward to this past January, which was a total of 8 months, it was paying for all of that and our mortgage by working. And I was working about 30 minutes a day, just really like knocking it out, being intentional with my time. And it built that insane momentum. And at the same time, I was also very intentional about sharing my story and sharing the journey that I was on, which brought in, you know, more connections and just continued to build that compound effect. And so it's not hard. You're just sharing your heart and sharing just a little bit of your time to help other people experience the same kind of breakthroughs. And the blessing to your family through income is just unparalleled at anything I've ever done. And I just want to share that with you because, you know, we do this because it is a business. Like Summer said, we love what we do, but we wouldn't do it without the paycheck, even though it is, you know, it is a ministry, because, you know, we have all the resources, we have everything we need to help people. And we do it from a business aspect, and we do that intentional with our time. But it takes not scrolling Facebook, not spending time doing things that are not purposeful, that are not going to move our business forward. But I just wanted to share that.
No, I love that. That's really, really good. And I'm glad that you took a second to share that, because it really is phenomenal what you can do when you focus your time. It's really phenomenal what you can avoid to do too when you scroll Facebook, and I've been caught in that trap. But but I had to focus like Ashley did at the beginning, and it was very very beneficial income wise to have, and that's why we teach it. Like Ashley said, we would be teaching that to you. I wanted to answer some of these questions. Hey Chad, can you plug me in real quick, babe? I saw some questions, and Tara was one of them. Let me see if I can find her because it's moving pretty quick. Well, Abby asked, when you coach, do you have to do Shakeology? Not necessarily. You know, if Shakeology is not your jam, I'd have to ask why, you know, but that's just because it did so much for me, and Chad talked me into that stupid shake. There's a whole nother story to Shakeology. Chad's the one that made me start drinking it, told me stop complaining, drink it, and I was like, fine, I'll prove you wrong. Y'all learning that I'm kind of stubborn, and I like to prove Chad wrong, and he's always proving me wrong with this business. So he's always like, whenever I go up on stage or something, he was like, you're welcome, you're welcome. But you do not. There's Beachbody has so many different, and that's what I love about how they've continued to progress, right? They've continued to look for what holes that people might have that could serve them. And so really, I mean, we do want you to love something about the products. You know, I think it's really hard, and Beachbody did, when they first started, some people don't know Beachbody's history, but when they first started, Carl Deichler could either take the workouts and put them like in Sam's Club and Target, whom he was in talks with, or he could go this route. And when he looked in the message boards back then, yeah, they had message boards. Facebook wasn't even a thing really. The people that were getting success were the customers that were supporting each other. And that's how he got the idea for it, because what he didn't want is what Summer did 10 years ago, is to buy a product. It wasn't off the shelf, but off the shelf and then never open it. And so he thought if he went this direction, he would increase the likelihood of people actually opening the product. Well, when he started the business, he had professional network marketers come in, and he also had these people that were on the message boards, right? So he brought 46 people together and pitched the idea. And some of them were just professional network marketers that didn't love the products. And the ones that are still around are the ones that really genuinely loved the product of some, you know, loved P90X or TurboFire, Shakeology, or the Energize, or they had P90X, you know, bars back then before they cleaned them up and brought these out, you know, and they even have vegan option coming. And so, you know, they want you to be a fan of the product, I would say, because talking about it, and even if you guys follow anybody like Grant Cardone or Gary Vee or any of the people that teach on this, it's really hard to be a part. I don't think you'll wake up as excited if you don't love some aspect of it, but you do not have to be on Shakeology. Let's see. That was a long answer to your short question. So you'll get to know that. I can be long-winded, but it's because I love y'all. How can I effectively coach others when I'm not yet a product of the product and have so many of my own obstacles that I want to overcome? Ashley, do you want to? Does this feel like something that speaks to you?
Yes, because, and Madison asked this too. I don't know if you were reading her question, but I love that question, because right in the very beginning when I started coaching, I didn't have a lot of results yet. It was more based on like feeling like for the first time I had the resources to change, and it was like clicking, like I felt it was clicking. And so right in the beginning, it was about seeing that support and how it felt to understand that I had finally found the thing that was going to help me, and I was in the trenches. And so I think, and this is one thing, like people don't need our expertise, they just need our love and our encouragement, which is exactly what we need right now, especially right in the beginning of our journey. We're getting that from our coach, and so we know how to offer that. The community is so powerful. We're believing in the products, we're seeing them working in our own lives, but right in the beginning, it's more about having people surrounding you that you're bringing on for accountability purposes of your own. And so I do hear a lot of people say that, like, I should have a lot of results before, but that's not true, because we're either doing this because we already have results, or we're doing it because we need more accountability. And so Summer knows this, and this is probably one of the reasons she asked me to touch on this, is because having other people on my team that I've led is what's kept me in the game. Like Madison, you're one of mine. And when I know that you're watching me, then I know I've got to show up for you and for myself. And that is a powerful connection to have. So it really strengthens your journey more than anything. So I say you go for it immediately. Once you understand the power of it, I don't ever think we should promote anything that we don't believe in. But once we understand and we believe in what is happening in our lives and what we have to offer, I think we should offer it. If that's on day 2, that should be the day that we start sharing.
Yeah, I love that. And that reminds me of like when I started doing a program. So I wasn't a product of the product yet at all, and as I shared in the middle of doing P90X and, trying to, do Shakeology and stuff like that, I by the time my husband got back, and I really didn't hit, like, in a lot of programs, like people quit way too early. Like, you know what I mean? If I line up my pictures, my body, like in day like 65 really started to change. Like, you know what I mean? If I would have looked at day like 29, I remember when I was in the test group with for Hammer and Chisel with Sagi and Autumn, and my body, if I would have quit at day 27, 29, 31, 30, you know what I mean? Like your body, it can take some time to transform. But I was sharing and people were watching. And so by the time Chad got home, I was making $400 a week. And I hadn't even had this big, like before and after. Mine's not even as big. Some people would say mine's not even as big as others. And so I think one of the biggest mistakes people make is waiting, because there's all this time that people can watch you. My sister-in-law, Nicole Campbell, is a huge example. If you don't know who she is, watch her. You know what I mean? She's lost 40 pounds. She's, I forget how much she says she still wants to lose. I think it's in the 50-ish range, but she's making income in the midst of that, and sharing as she works towards her wedding and some different things. And so I think when you take people along for the journey, that they watch your ups and your downs. Like they don't just see the highlight reel. They don't just see the big before and after, they watched you do it. It shows them that it gives them hope, and they don't have to be perfect either. They're going to have these ups and downs. And I think it's a very powerful for people to walk that journey with you. I wanted to answer this question. Tara asked, I'm a trainer for a specific program that involves 2 different formats. So would that be completely frowned upon? It's not part of Beachbody. No, not in the slightest. I think it does is it adds to how you can serve people. That's what I noticed because I taught my own classes. I had my own boot camp classes when I started utilizing Beachbodies and stuff like that. And so it's not frowned upon. We have a lot of people that go to CrossFit. Even, do you know what I mean? And what we all have in common is we really want to help people live their most like healthy and fulfilling life and help them like overcome some of their struggles, and it just adds to our toolbox. Does that make sense? And so I don't know if anybody else has something you want to add to that, but I know we have multiple coaches that teach like Les Mills programs, you know what I mean? And you know, one of our most successful coaches, been with her for a long time. Her husband is a CrossFit instructor and he coaches people, and they run, my husband and him run Spartan races together. And so it really isn't like that, in my opinion. And I know some other people were talking through some of those things. Ashley, did you say Madison was yours? You were talking to her there for a second? Yeah, okay. I just didn't want to miss that one because she typed a pretty long thing, and I wanted to make sure we served her. Let's see, I think that's everything. I think we can, unless I missed something, but I took pictures of everybody's questions. Yeah, and so now we can do the drawing. And here's the thing too, if I draw your name and you're like, oh, I really wanted to energize, we can just do 2 energize. It's okay. Or if you're like, oh, my kids would really prefer, you know, I just won't tell my kids that you picked the energize and not their bars. Okay. So anyway, okay. So the 2 people, and so I'm not really sure, and hopefully you guys, I don't butcher your name or anything like that, but my assistant her son is sitting with her picking numbers and names. And so that's how we randomly do it around here. He doesn't know anybody. And so her son, Zach, picked by number Leslie Zacharias. I think I said, did I say that correct? And Kimberly Savage. Did I say that right? Those are 2 winners that you can pick. All I need you to do, so you don't have to you don't have to try to friend me or anything. You can, I would love that, but shoot your coach a message with your mailing address, and I'll get those out in the mail for you to utilize. I'll get them out tomorrow because tomorrow's a work day for me. So y'all, I am so grateful that you spent an hour with us, and some of y'all asked questions, and I love that. I love that. I want you to understand that this is a safe place for you to figure out if this could be an answer to something that has been keeping you up at night or stressing you out, like it was me and Chad, or create a community for you, or a safe place for you to fall, or a place for you to get surrounded, or a place to have fun, to add that in, whatever it is for you. We want to make sure that we're that safe place for you to ask questions and to make sure it's a good fit for you. So hopefully I'll be seeing some of y'all get introduced in, and I'll get to know y'all better. But seriously, if this is your jam, y'all, don't hesitate. We got that new Coach Academy starting, and we're really going to dig in and give you the tools that you need, right? And so I want you to be able to hit the ball, is it the ball running? That's not right, is it? The road running? The ground. Oh crap, you guys. What did I say today, Chad, that you were like, no, Summer, that's not even right. Like during it hit I think I said a fish out of sea one time. Is that right or is that wrong? That's wrong. It's fish out of water, right? See? Y'all don't even got to be that smart to run this business. You should be looking at me right now being like, damn, if she can do it, I can do it. So anyway, I love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Y'all, the coaches that presented, you guys are fantastic. You inspire me every single day. I'm so blessed to be surrounded by y'all. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. See ya.